The Power of Leverage in Wealth Creation. In the world of wealth building, starting from nothing can seem overwhelming, but sometimes a clever use of leverage can dramatically multiply our efforts. In 2012, a U.S. software developer, Bob, quietly outsourced his entire job to a programmer in China. Bob was earning a six-figure salary, yet he paid the Chinese contractor only about 1/5 of his salary to do all his work. While the contractor coded on his behalf, Bob spent his days watching cat videos and surfing the web, and still collected about $200,000 a year for not doing the work. Bob's scheme was against company policy, and he was eventually caught. But it reveals an important principle. He used leverage, in this case labor leverage, to dramatically increase his income with minimal effort. In physics, Archimedes famously said, "Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world." In the realm of wealth, leverage is just as powerful. It's a force multiplier that allows individuals to achieve far more than they could alone. The book, The Almanack of Naval Ravikant, a compilation of insights from tech entrepreneur and investor Naval Ravikant, teaches us modern forms of leverage and other methods to create wealth from scratch. According to Naval, in today's society, it's no longer useful to simply label people as rich or poor or white-collar or blue-collar. A more meaningful divide is those who know how to use leverage versus those who do not. We will explore Naval Ravikant's key ideas on building wealth, finding fulfillment, and ultimately achieving happiness, all in a way that's accessible and inspiring, even if you're not an entrepreneur or investor. Who is Naval Ravikant, and why listen to him? You might wonder who Naval Ravikant is. Naval's life story is a classic rags-to-riches journey. He was born into a poor family in India and immigrated to the United States at age 9. Growing up with very little money, young Naval even worked illegally in restaurant kitchens to help make ends meet. Concerned for his safety in rough neighborhoods of New York, his mother would only allow him to go to school and then straight to the public library. Naval spent countless hours devouring books, which broadened his mind and aspirations. His hard work paid off. At 21, he graduated from the Ivy League Dartmouth College. By 27, he was a partner at a venture capital firm, August Capital, and embarking on a career in tech entrepreneurship. Naval went on to co-found multiple successful companies and made early investments in over 100 startups, including giants like Twitter and Uber. These achievements earned him a reputation as a Silicon Valley super investor, someone with a knack for spotting wealth-building opportunities. Naval knows how to create wealth from zero. It's what he's best at. He once boldly stated, "If somehow I lost everything and woke up on a random street in any English-speaking country with no money, I'm confident that within 5 to 10 years, I'd be wealthy again." That confidence comes from understanding the fundamental principles of wealth creation. Naval is also a deep thinker who frequently shares wisdom on Twitter and podcasts about wealth and life. His thoughts have resonated with millions of people, especially younger generations seeking guidance. The Almanack of Naval Ravikant, compiled by Eric Jorgenson, distills Naval's insight. Naval emphasizes that pursuing wealth is not about greed or moral compromise. He believes you can seek wealth ethically. He argues that building wealth can provide you and your family with freedom and the resources to live a happier life. To start, Naval draws a clear distinction between money and wealth. Money versus wealth. Understanding the difference. In Naval's eyes, money and wealth are two very different things. So what is money exactly? Money is essentially a token of exchange, a societal IOU. It's like a promissory note from society that says you created value for others, so you are owed something in return. In other words, money is the reward you get for delivering value. If you help build a product or provide a service that benefits people, society writes you an IOU in the form of dollars, yuan, or whatever currency. That IOU can later be exchanged for something you need. Realizing that money is just an IOU for value, create more value for society, and society will owe you more in return. If you want a lot of money, focus on solving problems or providing services that a lot of people find valuable. The more useful you are to others, the more IOUs, money, you can accumulate. Wealth, on the other hand, is not paper currency or numbers in a bank account. Wealth is better thought of as assets that earn while you sleep. Naval says, wealth is the factories, equipment, products, or investments that continue to make money for you even when you're not actively working. For example, if you own a rental property, that house or apartment is part of your wealth. You could be asleep or on vacation, and your tenant's rent still shows up as income. If you own equity, shares in a business, that ownership is wealth, because the company can be running 24/7, generating profits and growing in value, even if you personally are offline or on a break. If you write a song and license it, each time it gets streamed or used in a movie, you earn a royalty without additional work. That song is an asset, a piece of wealth. Likewise, an author who has written a book might keep earning money from book sales year after year, regardless of what they do each day. These are all examples of what people often call passive income, or, as Naval puts it, money that comes in even after you've stopped actively working, essentially income while you're sleeping. The big question then becomes, how can you create or acquire these kinds of assets for yourself? In other words, how do you build wealth, lasting assets, rather than just earning money, one-time payments? Naval's answer lies in developing a particular skill set and mindset. You need to productize yourself. The key to building wealth. Productize yourself. Naval famously sums up the secret of wealth creation in 6 words: productize yourself. This phrase is a bit abstract, but it contains 2 critical ideas: yourself and productize. Let's break it down. Being yourself means identifying and embracing what makes you unique. Naval argues that each person has certain combinations of skills, interests, and personality that are unlike anyone else. Your unique blend is your strength. If in any given job or system you are easily replaceable, if literally anyone with similar training could do what you do, then you haven't tapped into your unique strengths yet. The goal is to develop a specialty or niche that only you can fill in the way that you do. This is sometimes called finding your specific knowledge, a term Naval uses to describe knowledge or skill that is highly specific to you. gained through your own curiosity and life experience. It could be a deep understanding of a rare subject, a creative skill set, or an intersection of talents. For example, you might be a programmer who also understands biology and design. That unique combo could let you do things others cannot. Becoming this unique you requires focusing on things you are naturally interested in and good at. Naval emphasizes that you won't find your unique talent in any standard classroom. There is no course that will simply hand it to you. Specific knowledge can't be taught, but it can be learned, he says. What he means is that you must discover and develop your special skill through exploration and real-world practice, not by following a generic curriculum. It's a bit like a master-apprentice journey. A mentor or book might spark your interest. The master opens the door, but you have to walk through it and learn by doing to truly build expertise. Only you can find your way in. In finding your path, imitation only takes you so far. You can't just copy someone to greatness. In fact, no one can beat you at being you. So the more you become, the less competition you'll face. If you simply try to mimic others, you'll always be one step behind and likely uninspired. Now, what does productize mean? To productize yourself is to turn your unique skills into a product or service that can scale beyond just you. In other words, find a way to apply leverage to your skills so that you're not just doing one-off work for each customer. For example, someone who is a great personal consultant, giving advice 1 hour at a time for a fee. That's a one-to-one service. It doesn't scale. The consultant can only earn as many fees as hours in a day. Now imagine instead that this person takes all their knowledge and packages it into an online course or a video series. With a polished video course, they can sell it to 100 or 1,000 clients around the world, even while they sleep, without having to be present each time. They've turned their expertise into a product, and that product can generate income repeatedly at almost no extra cost to them. This is a classic example of leverage and sleep income. Do the work once, sell it many times. Naval wants us to ask ourselves 2 critical questions on the journey to wealth. 1. Is this something I truly want to do? In other words, am I pursuing work that aligns with my genuine interest or talent? Does it feel authentic to me? 2. Have I managed to productize it or scale it? That is, have I created a system, product, or asset out of this work that can generate value and income beyond my direct input of time? If you can honestly answer yes to both questions, Naval says you will be on the path to creating wealth. You'll be doing work you love, so you'll likely excel and persist in it, and you'll have a way to multiply your efforts, so the rewards can grow exponentially. How to find your unique passion, skill, and how to apply leverage to it. Let's explore each in turn. Find your unique talent and passion, becoming irreplaceable. Find out who you are and become it. This could summarize Naval's first mandate: discover your innate talents and interests, your specific knowledge, and build upon them. Naval says specific knowledge cannot be taught, but it can be learned. This means you won't gain your one-of-a-kind skill set from any single course or teacher. Instead, you learn it by following your curiosity, trying many things, and seeing what sticks. It's a process of self-discovery. For instance, A book about investing might inspire you and clarify your thinking, but whether that knowledge turns into real skill, say actually making good investments, depends on you practicing, experimenting, maybe failing, and trying again. It's very much a learn-by-doing journey. Crucially, nobody can outdo you at being you. If you lean into what you love and what you're good at, you're going to develop a style and perspective that's unique. On the flip side, if you spend all your time trying to be someone else, copying a successful person's career step by step, you'll always be in their shadow and one step behind. Your best chance at wealth and fulfillment is finding the thing that only you can bring to the world and mastering that. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, gave a great piece of advice about originality. He said that being an entrepreneur is about not doing things the way everyone else does. If there's already a well-trodden path and everyone is following it, you should probably look for a different, untapped path. Every truly successful venture is an original creation. Even if two businesses are in the same industry, the ones that thrive usually have some unique twist or innovation that sets them apart. Don't just follow the crowd. Identify where you can do something different and better. When choosing a field of work or a project, pay attention to your genuine interests and passions rather than just chasing the hottest trend or the highest salary. Why? Because if you're only in it for the money, but you have no real interest, you'll be outperformed by someone who loves the work. A person passionate about a field will dig deeper, persist longer, and create more innovative ideas, simply because they care. Meanwhile, a high salary job might look good, but if it's just trading your time for money and you have no inherent interest, you're unlikely to build wealth from it. You'll likely remain stuck exchanging hours for pay with no lasting asset to show. Think of it this way. A salaried job, even a high-paying one, is often renting out your time, which means as soon as you stop, the income stops. No more IOUs coming in. To use Naval's earlier concept, it's not wealth, it's just money. On the other hand, if you pour your effort into something you truly enjoy, you're more likely to create an innovative product, a new method, or a standout reputation, all of which can become assets that pay off in the long run, even when you're not actively working. So, how do you identify your personal talent or passion? Naval suggests a simple approach. Keep digging in the areas that naturally draw you in. If something fascinates you, explore it further, practice it, and try to produce work in that area. Over time, this deep dive will lead you to develop expertise and even create something new in the field. And that something new is often where your unique niche lies. It could be an invention, a unique service, a creative work, or even just a novel combination of skills. This process requires you to be a lifelong learner. Keep learning, keep tinkering, and trust your own experiences. Improvement accumulates gradually, and Naval is a big believer in the power of compounding in knowledge and skill. If you can get, say, 1% better at your craft every day, in a year, you will have improved several-fold. In fact, 1% daily improvement yields approximately 37 times improvement in a year. Such is the magic of compounding. The key is to think long-term and stay committed. Skills and careers aren't built overnight, but consistent small gains add up to massive advantages. By consistently learning and honing your craft, you not only become excellent at what you do, but you also differentiate yourself from the pack. Once you've become yourself, found that special mix that you excel in, the next step is to apply leverage to it. That's where productizing yourself comes back into play. The 3 types of leverage for wealth. So you've identified something you love to do and do uniquely well. Now, how do you multiply that success beyond your own effort? The answer is leverage. Leverage, in a general sense, means using resources to amplify your outcome. Naval identifies 3 broad categories of wealth leverage available in the modern world. 1. Labor leverage, people's time and effort. This is the oldest form of leverage, using other people's labor to get more done than you could alone. If you're a boss or entrepreneur, you hire employees or outsource tasks. Our opening story of Bob, the programmer, was an example, albeit a sneaky one, of labor leverage. He hired a contractor to do his work. On a larger scale, any business owner who has a team, the employees' combined hours greatly exceed the owner's 24 hours in a day, so a lot more work gets done, revenue generated, and profits made. Elon Musk isn't building every Tesla car himself. He's leveraging the labor of thousands of workers. Managing people is a way to leverage time, but it requires strong leadership and management ability. Naval notes that if you can pay someone to do a task for less than the value the task generates, it's often smart to outsource or delegate it. That frees you up to focus on higher value activities that you are uniquely good at. 2. Capital leverage, money. This form of leverage involves using money to make more money. It's the domain of investors, bankers, and fund managers. For instance, if you have access to a lot of capital, you can invest in projects or lend money out and earn returns without doing the physical work yourself. Naval gives the example of a top investor who can easily raise a huge fund, say, gather $100 million from clients, and then invest that money. The investor's decisions and strategy get multiplied by the weight of all that capital. If the investments do well, the profits and fees can be enormous, far beyond what the investor could earn by just investing their own smaller savings. This is money working for you. However, not everyone can access capital leverage. It requires either having your own money or convincing others, through your reputation and skill, to trust you with their money. Capital leverage often boils down to credibility and foresight. People will give you leverage in the form of money only if they believe in your ability to grow it. 3. Product leverage, zero marginal cost products. This is the newest and most powerful form of leverage in the modern age. It refers to creating products or media that can be replicated at almost no additional cost per unit. This usually means technology and content, things like software, books, online videos, podcasts, or patents. What's special about this category is that you can reach millions of people without needing an army of employees or a ton of money for each copy. Once the first version of the product is made, making one more copy or 1 million more copies costs virtually the same. For example, consider Microsoft. Bill Gates wrote the software once, and Microsoft could sell millions of copies of Windows with negligible cost to duplicate each copy. That's an insane level of leverage. Or take a music artist recording a song. Creating the initial song might take a lot of effort, but distributing that song as an MP3 file to 1 billion listeners is near zero cost now, via the internet. A YouTuber can upload a video once and potentially have it viewed by millions around the world for years to come. An author can write a book and benefit from sales indefinitely. In all these cases, the creator's work is decoupled from their time. They don't have to perform live for each person. The product, software, media, etc. does the work. Naval emphasizes that this category of leverage is both new, thanks to the internet and digital technology, and accessible to anybody. You don't need anyone's permission to write code and launch an app, or to record a podcast, or to publish an ebook. Unlike labor and capital, which require managing other people or convincing investors, product leverage is permissionless, just your own creativity and the open marketplace of the internet. All three types of leverage can create wealth, and often the biggest success stories combine multiple forms. But you don't need all three. Naval suggests that for most people, the last category, product leverage via code or media, is the most attainable and high-impact path today. Labor leverage can be limited and management-intensive. Capital leverage can be inaccessible without connections or prior success. But an individual with a laptop and an internet connection can potentially reach millions by building a clever app or creating valuable content. That is an unprecedented opportunity in history. To make these ideas concrete, think of some examples. A software developer writing a hit mobile app is using product leverage. One piece of software can serve millions of users, generating income around the clock. A content creator or educator filming an online course or starting a popular blog is leveraging media. They create something once, the video or article, and it keeps attracting viewers and ad revenue or subscription fees without extra work each time. An inventor who patents a device can license the patent to companies. The idea, once formalized, can be used by others to generate royalties. Even a social media influencer uses leverage. He or she might spend an hour making a viral post that gets shared widely, effectively leveraging the social network to amplify a personal brand, which can then be monetized. These examples show the power of creating something that can be replicated at scale. In summary, leverage is the force multiplier for your talent. If you use labor leverage, you multiply output through other people's efforts. With capital leverage, you multiply output through financial investment. With product, digital, automation leverage, you multiply output through technology or content that works for you endlessly. Understanding these options, the next step is figuring out which leverage is right for you and how to apply it in your own life. Discovering your leverage. Don't follow the crowd. Follow your heart. When figuring out how to apply leverage to build your own wealth, the first rule is not to simply chase what everyone else is doing. Naval often stresses a kind of paradox. The more you obsess over something like wealth or success, the harder it can be to attain. The less you desire a certain outcome, the less worries you'll have. and the more naturally things will fall into place. This doesn't mean do nothing and wealth falls from the sky. Rather, it means choose a path that you would enjoy walking, even if it weren't guaranteed to make you rich. If your only motive is money and you hate the process, you'll quit when things get tough. And things always get tough at some point. But if you love the process, you're more likely to persevere and eventually hit upon success. Another reason not to follow the crowd is that if everyone is doing something, it's no longer a unique value. If you pick a trendy business just because it's hot, you'll face stiff competition and you'll be easily replaceable by someone willing to do it cheaper or better. As Naval puts it, to earn significant rewards, you need to provide something that society wants, but doesn't yet have easy access to. That usually means doing something different from the rest. So ask yourself, what is it that I can offer that's in demand, but not enough people, or maybe no one, are providing? The answer likely lies at the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, and what people need. It could be a niche product, a unique service approach, or a novel piece of content. No matter the field, whether you're starting a business, getting in shape, building relationships, whatever, Naval says the meaning of life is found in the process. Focus on the activity itself, the craft, the journey. Enjoying the path is actually a competitive advantage. If you genuinely enjoy the work, you'll naturally do it more and do it better, which eventually can make you more successful, and yes, often more money, than those who are in it only as a means to an end. It's almost ironic. By not obsessing over the end goal and instead immersing in the present work, you often get better results in the end. The year Naval made the most money in his life was actually the year he was working the least hard in a conventional sense and worrying the least about the future. How could that be? He says he spent that year pursuing projects purely because they interested him and were fun, pouring his energy into what he found valuable and enjoyable. Because his heart was in it, he was extremely effective and creative. And those projects ended up yielding enormous financial returns. Meanwhile, he wasn't stressed or burnt out, because he wasn't sacrificing his present for some uncertain future reward. He was fully engaged in the present. This anecdote underlines a powerful lesson. When you do what you love and focus on the process, success can become a byproduct. Now, let's tie this back into leverage. Earlier, we outlined the 3 types of leverage. Depending on your personal skills and situation, one form may suit you more than another. If you love working with people and have a talent for leadership, you might leverage labor by building a great team or organization. Keep in mind, this requires exceptional management skill. Not everyone enjoys managing others. If you have a knack for finance or building investor trust, you might leverage capital by raising money for a fund or startup and letting dollars amplify your impact. This path hinges on credibility and often past success. For most individuals, leveraging products, technology, and content is the most accessible route. If you can create something once that millions can use, you break the link between your time and your output. Whether it's writing code, writing words, recording videos, or any creative act, the internet enables you to reach a global audience at virtually no cost. You could be obsessed with a very niche subject or hobby, and in the past, you might not find a single paying customer in your small town. But today, via the internet, you can find thousands of true fans around the world who share that niche interest, enough to make a living. The key is you have to produce exceptional value in whatever you choose, because online competition is also global. But if you become one of the best in a narrow field, even a weird or small field, leverage will carry you. We live in a time when being the best in your specific niche, combined with scale, can outperform being just okay in a large market. If your content or product can be distributed to everyone on the planet, even a 0.1% niche can be huge. This is why he categorizes people simply as those who use leverage versus those who don't. If you know how to harness modern leverage, you can achieve outsized results and join the first group. So, discover your personal leverage by aligning with your passion and strengths, and then apply the appropriate lever. Maybe you'll hire help or collaborate, labor leverage, to multiply your productivity. Maybe you'll get investors or use savings, capital leverage, to fuel a bigger enterprise. Very likely, you can create a product or content, product leverage, something that once created can keep working for you indefinitely. Whichever path, ensure it's something you care about. The combination of authentic interest and powerful leverage is hard to beat. Environment matters. Choose your people and place wisely. As you embark on building your wealth and career, Naval suggests considering 3 big decisions that can shape your life's trajectory: where you live, who you spend time with, and what you do for a living. These might sound obvious, but many people drift into these choices without much thought, even though they have profound impact on success and happiness. Let's break them down. Where to live? Your environment plays a huge role in the opportunities you encounter. Different cities or regions have different energies, industries, and networks. For example, if you're aiming to start a tech company living in a tech hub, like Silicon Valley, Seattle, or another city known for startups, can plug you into the right ecosystem of talent and investors. On the other hand, if you prefer a quieter life or a field like agriculture, a rural environment might make more sense. Naval hints at questions like, do you want to be in the fast-paced economic center or a political capital, a bustling big city or a calmer small town? There's no one-size-fits-all answer. It depends on your values and goals. The key is to be deliberate. Choose a place that aligns with the life you want to build, both professionally and personally, because moving to an environment that supports your ambitions can significantly boost your odds of success. Who to be with? This covers both your personal relationships and professional circle. The people around you can elevate you or hold you back. There's a popular saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you surround yourself with ambitious, positive, and smart people, it tends to rub off. You'll be challenged, inspired, and connected to more opportunities. Conversely, if your circle is negative or complacent, it can drag you down. Naval's advice is to choose friends, mentors, co-founders, or partners who bring out your best qualities and share your vision for the future. Team up with those who complement your strengths and values. Life is too short to spend with people who don't uplift you. Networking in the right circles can open doors for jobs, collaborations, or simply new ideas. What to do? Career, industry. Finally, decide what field or career you want to focus on. This ties back to finding your passion and talent. Ideally, you choose a profession or business that excites you and has room for growth. Think about where your skills can shine and what industry aligns with your interests. Also, consider where there's demand. If you pick a dying industry just because you studied it, you might struggle. Sometimes reinventing yourself for a growing field pays off. This question is also about role. Do you see yourself as an entrepreneur, an artist, an engineer, a researcher? Each path has its trade-offs in lifestyle and risk. Naval would likely say, there is no inherently best choice, just what's best for you. But once you choose, give it your all. All three of these big choices influence each other. For example, moving to a great city could help you meet inspiring people and find the career opportunity of your dreams. Working in a field you love will likely connect you to like-minded people and perhaps dictate which city is optimal. The main point is to be conscious and proactive in shaping your environment. Don't just go where everyone goes or hang out with whoever's around or take the highest-paying job that you're indifferent about. Put yourself in the right environment, the city, community, and industry that will support your unique ambitions. It can make all the difference as you work to leverage your talents into success. Redefining retirement. Freedom is the goal. Let's shift to a concept that usually comes after a career of wealth building, retirement. Naval has an unconventional view on retirement. Traditionally, people see retirement as that distant point in life where you've saved up enough money to quit your job and relax. But Naval says retirement isn't about not working. It's about not waiting. In his words, retirement is when you stop sacrificing today for an imaginary tomorrow. When you're doing exactly what you want to be doing, and you're not wishing you were elsewhere. You are essentially retired, no matter your age or whether you're technically working. Sacrificing today for tomorrow is what many people do their whole lives, like enduring a miserable job for decades just for the promise of a pension, or constantly deferring hobbies and family time to earn that next promotion. If you can design your life such that you're not putting off living, that you genuinely enjoy your daily work and feel present and content each day, then you have achieved a kind of retirement already, because you wouldn't trade your today for some hypothetical better tomorrow. A practical way to test this is to ask, if I were 100 years old, would I still want to be doing what I'm doing now? If the answer is yes, if you deeply enjoy your work or activity, such that you'd gladly continue it even in old age, then you've reached the state Naval talks about. You aren't working out of obligation or solely for future reward. You're working because the work itself fulfills you. On the other hand, if you're grinding purely so that one day you can do what you actually like, that means you're sacrificing today. Naval's ideal is to minimize that kind of sacrifice. Warren Buffett, one of the richest investors in history, is a great example. He's in his 90s and still goes to the office every day not because he needs more money, but because he genuinely loves what he does. Buffett famously says he tap dances to work every morning. From the outside, it looks like he's a workaholic billionaire who never retired. But by Naval's definition, Buffett is already retired in spirit. He's spending his days exactly as he wants, playing the game of investing, which he finds intellectually fulfilling and fun. He has zero need to retire in the traditional sense because he isn't postponing anything. He's living his ideal life now. Now, reaching this state doesn't mean you must become a billionaire. It's more about achieving enough financial security and aligning your life in such a way that you're not forced to do things you hate. So, a natural question is, how much money does one need to feel secure and free? Naval's perspective is enlightening here too. He says, I don't hate money, but I'm very cautious of greed. By all means, build wealth to the point where you and your family can live comfortably and not worry about basic needs. That's true financial freedom. But don't fall into the trap of endless desire. If you keep raising your expectations as your wealth grows, you'll never feel rich enough. There are plenty of people who've had a big success, sold a company or made millions, yet still feel anxious and dissatisfied. Why? Often because as soon as they got money, they immediately upgraded their lifestyle and started wanting even more. Naval warns, don't rush to upgrade your lifestyle. He advocates a minimalist, simple life, even as you get richer. Someone who goes from making $50,000 a year to $500,000 a year. If they instantly start renting a luxury apartment, buying fancy cars, flying private, etc., their expenses will skyrocket, and soon $500,000 might feel like $50,000 did before. Or worse, they might now feel $500,000 is not enough because they've developed expensive tastes. This phenomenon is known as lifestyle inflation. As income rises, desires rise with it, and the person stays on a hamster wheel of needing more money. Naval observes that some entrepreneurs end up feeling perpetually poor no matter how much they make, because they constantly upscale their life. Bigger offices, more staff, lavish parties, yachts, and thus they never reach a point of contentment. Consciously live below your means and keep your needs simple. Naval puts it beautifully. People who live far below their means enjoy a freedom that people busy upgrading their lifestyles can't fathom. If you don't need much to be happy, then making a modest amount of money can set you free. But if you need the latest luxury and one-upping your peers to be happy, then even millions might leave you feeling unsatisfied. So, even as you achieve financial success, practice valuing freedom over stuff. Avoid unnecessary social status games and keeping up with the Joneses. Naval even suggests cutting out ineffective socialization. For example, networking events that are more about appearing important than doing something meaningful. As he humorously notes, if you're an unknown and you somehow meet Bill Gates at a party, it probably won't change your life. Bill Gates isn't going to hand you $1 million on the spot. A more productive use of time would be to create something so valuable or interesting that one day Bill Gates wants to meet you. In other words, focus on being excellent and making cool stuff, rather than chasing high-status people to network with. When you do remarkable things, people will notice, and useful connections will form naturally, based on genuine mutual interest. Those are the connections that matter, built on substance, not superficial schmoozing. Wealth is great if it buys you freedom, but beyond a point, more money won't make you happier, and can even make you less happy if it amplifies endless desires. True freedom is living life on your terms, doing work you love, and not being owned by your possessions or status. The Pursuit of Happiness, Naval's Philosophy. After all this talk of wealth, leverage, and success, let's bring the conversation back to a final question. What is it all for? The end goal for most of us isn't money itself. It's happiness. Naval believes that happiness is our default state when we remove worry and desire. He has said, happiness is a state where nothing is missing. Think about that. It's not a state of getting something, but rather a state of needing nothing. He suggests that a lot of our unhappiness comes from the incessant desires and cravings in our minds. Desire is a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. Naval famously said, it means the moment you say, I need this or that to be happy, you've already delayed your happiness and created a tension in yourself. Of course, completely eliminating desire is a tall order. We're all human. But simply being aware that each strong desire can disturb our peace is a big step. He also warns against labeling everything in life as good or bad in a knee-jerk way. When we judge every event or compare ourselves constantly, this is great, that is awful, I am successful, I am failing, we create inner turmoil. Life will always have ups and downs. If we pin our happiness on external circumstances always going our way, we're in for a rough ride. Instead, Naval suggests we can choose to see things differently. We might not control the world, but we can control our reaction and perspective of the world. For instance, rather than seeing a setback as a curse, you could view it as a learning opportunity, or simply accept it as a passing storm. This kind of mindset shift can protect your happiness from the roller coaster of events. A common illusion many of us have is, I'll be happy when I achieve X or have Y. Maybe when I get that promotion, I'll finally be satisfied, or if only I had $1 million, I'd never complain again. As most people discover, is that the novelty of every achievement or purchase fades quickly, and then a new desire emerges. You might recall times in your life when you desperately wanted something, a job, a car, a relationship, and you thought it would complete you. And maybe when you got it, you felt happy for a while, but soon enough, you were back to baseline, maybe even wanting the next thing. It's like chasing the horizon. You never quite get there because as soon as you approach it, it moves further away. Given this, Naval advises, don't pin your happiness on obtaining one more thing. Instead, work on being content right now with what you have. This doesn't mean you stop striving or give up ambition. It means emotionally, you learn to be at peace in the process, not putting off happiness for a future goal. It's a bit of a paradox. You can simultaneously work toward a better future and be happy in the present. You're more likely to put in good work if you're not miserable and anxious during the journey. So, what does happiness in the present look like? It might mean cultivating gratitude for the simple things: health, family, a cup of coffee, a sunny day. It might mean practicing mindfulness or meditation to quiet the mind's chatter and appreciate the here and now. Naval himself is known to meditate regularly and speak about the benefits of a calm mind. He implies that when you remove the constant sense of something's missing or I need to be elsewhere, what remains is a natural happiness. It's not the giddy excitement of getting a new toy. It's more like a deep peace or contentment. Naval's happiness formula is about subtracting mental baggage rather than adding externals. Let go of excessive desires. Stop obsessing over judgments. And suddenly, happiness reveals itself. It was there all along, quietly waiting for you to notice the present moment. Naval Ravikant's Almanack offers a holistic set of lessons, from practical wealth-building tactics to profound life philosophy. The key takeaways we've explored can be distilled into a few powerful principles. Create wealth by providing value. Treat money as society's IOU for your contributions. Aim to build wealth, assets that earn for you rather than just earning income. Productize your unique self. Find your special mix of talents and interests, your specific knowledge, and scale it through leverage, whether via people, capital, or especially products and technology. Do what only you can do and find a way to multiply its impact. Follow your genuine curiosity and passion. Don't just chase trends or money. When you do what you love, you'll do it better and longer, and paradoxically, the money often follows. Use modern leverage. Take advantage of the incredible tools of our age, software, media, the internet, to amplify your efforts. It's never been more possible to reach millions with just a great idea and hard work. Surround yourself wisely. Choose a conducive environment, a place that aligns with your goals, and people who support and inspire you. Life's big decisions about where you live, who you work with, and what you do deserve mindful planning. Redefine enough and seek freedom. Wealth is worthwhile for the freedom it affords, but don't let desire for more trap you. Live below your means. Avoid lifestyle creep, and you'll feel truly rich. Remember, freedom is having control of your time and no need to defer living. Strive to reach a state where you could happily retire, not because you stopped working, but because you only do work that you love. Happiness is here and now. Finally, no amount of wealth matters if you're unhappy. True happiness is a calm mind, free from endless desire and anxiety. It's appreciating the present and feeling that nothing essential is missing. Don't condition your peace on external achievements. Cultivate it from within. In Naval's own words, specialized knowledge can't be taught, but it can be learned. The journey to wealth and happiness is very much a self-driven education. You now have these principles, but making them work in your life is up to you. Try things out. Reflect on what you really want, and don't be afraid to break away from the crowd. The greatest wealth is being able to live life on your own terms and finding joy in each day. Naval Ravikant's insights are a guide, but your path will be uniquely your own. Take these ideas, implement them in small ways, and steadily build the life you want. As Naval hopes for everyone, may you have the freedom and happiness that come from living true to yourself and providing value to the world.